Well, Mick, a pretty dominant opening day win. Elements of it I think you weren't pleased with, but overall, yeah, just thoughts on that game.
Yeah, I think obviously you never begrudge a victory. That's what football's about, and I thought that towards the end, when we started to look a little bit more like we should look, we played some decent football. I thought first half we probably looked like our pre-season's been, in the sense of we haven't managed to get too many 90s in, which is sometimes you need a couple of them in here just to get up to speed. But the frustrating part of the first half was the level's gone up for us this year. For these boys now, they're chasing the Premier League, and you've only got to watch the fixtures that have happened over the last few days to know that the level's scary when you're watching it, and especially when you're watching it live. And it's a great opportunity for them if they really kick and they grab it and they go for it. What a chance at the football club. We've got a manager who showed that he will play youth, and so for us, we're desperate for them to perform every single week to give themselves the best possible chance. And first half, understandably so, a little bit, we were probably rusty, and then second half I thought there were spells where we were much better.
Were you particularly pleased with that? Obviously, at the end of that first half it was a little bit sloppy towards the end, but then the second half they came out and they scored those 3 goals really in about 10 minutes. Yeah,
I mean, just from our point of view as coaching staff, we know how well they can play, we know how good they can be, and so when the levels drop off, we're not the sort of club that'll accept it, as I say. Especially now that the ante's gone up, the fact that we're in the Premier League, we can't allow that to happen. And more so for the lads, we know that what they're capable of. We see it every day in training. And I thought first half we just didn't have that joined up kind of way of playing, which maybe we had at times last season. But it'll come. I'm confident of that. They've been working hard in pre-season. They've been working hard in training, and we just need a little bit more time together. And we need games, and then once we've got them games, I'm sure that a lot of players will start finding their feet. But in amongst it, there were still some good performances. Obviously Marshy again, straight back onto the habit of scoring goals at this level. So credit to him. But I think it's, as I say, the carrot's there for anybody who wants it at this football club, and that's what we're really pushing these lads to understand. That if you really, really want it and you really, really commit to it, it's there for you.
Yeah, I mean, we always say, don't we, not always at the start of the season, it's not always about the league table, it's about development. But this is today at least a fairly similar group to what you ended last season with. There's a couple of lads that have come back, a couple that have stepped up. But what has kind of been the overall message to the group over pre-season?
I think it's been a great pre-season in the sense of we've had a lot of exposure to first team football, which I think for some of them, especially the younger ones, has been an eye opener. But it's been a great leveller for them to see what they're striving towards. And so from that sort of things, we couldn't have asked for a better pre-season. Maybe hadn't had as many games as we would have liked as a group, but I would trade that every day for the opportunities that they got over pre-season. So, we've got no qualms whatsoever with that. We're here to support the first team. We're here to try and develop lads through to the first team. So, for them to get them opportunities so early, superb. But now it's on to the season begins, everything starts to settle down, and we get back into that day to day. So over the course of pre-season for us, it's basically just been relaying the messages about the levels have gone up. Obviously we had a good season last year, just fell short at our level in the 21s in the final. So we've got stuff as a 21s group, certainly with the young lads coming up, that they're striving for this year with our group, and some of the older ones that were on the pitch today, maybe they've got different targets, and it's up to them to make sure that they perform now, so that either eyes are on them from the first team, or if they're eyeing up alone, etc., they're giving themselves an opportunity for that to present. So that's been the message. Everybody's at different stages, we understand that, but you've got to make sure that you perform to give yourself the best possible chance to achieve whatever it is that you want.
The final one, we go down to Bristol next week. Obviously we played them in the playoffs at the end of last season. We know they're always up there, and it's a tough test, but is it a nice feeling as a coach when you come off a 6-0 win and you still think we've got a lot that we can work on over the next week?
Yeah, it is, definitely. As I say, but I think it is about, we want to look at performances. I thought that they had a fair few chances, and if they'd have took them, it might have been a different game. So as much as there was some very good play from us, I think that it could have been different and probably should have been different. But it wasn't, and that's football sometimes. So it gives us an opportunity now. It's always easier to start working on stuff after a win, because people are a lot more receptive to messages, understandably so. So we just get our heads down now. We've got a good week of training before we go down there to Bristol. Always a hard place to go, but again, another opportunity to impress.